Today is Monday, May the 3rd. I am your host, KC Phoenix, and this is My Daily Thought. Welcome to everyone. Okay, so for those who may not know, if you're new to My Daily Thought, usually I start talking about things that have been happening in my life, and then I dive into my daily thought. I'm not exactly sure how I will do all of that this time. However, before I go any further, KIRWKC.com is the main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Bullhorn, Overcast, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Listen to whatever platform works best for you. And as I always say, thank you for listening. And KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Feel free to follow and engage and all that other good stuff. I appreciate it. Well, where to start? Okay, so I called the girl I call my little sister this morning. I didn't get in touch with her because I was supposed to call her over the weekend, and then I was working on a whole lot of other things as related to the podcast. And I didn't fit in time to do it because after I finished doing everything else, I was like, okay, I need a little bit of time for myself so I can unwind. And I watched 2 movies to just let my mind go, even though my mind was still thinking. So I did that. And this morning I woke up, I was like, oh, I have to call her. So I left a message. Hopefully, I will be able to catch up with her. A lot of things are happening right now with the show, which, by the way, I am getting closer to setting up interviews with people. So some things are moving faster than expected. And that's one of the things that's moving faster than expected. Also, I plan to do a quick 3 later. So that will be the energy for tomorrow. It'll be 3 tarot cards that I will pull. And that'll be the energy for tomorrow. It will be for the collective. Obviously, it will not resonate with every single person on the planet. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it is not your story, please do not try to make it fit. Okay. That's going on. And I believe I will be doing lucky numbers as well. The lucky numbers for tomorrow. I will work on getting that up too. And there are some other things that are happening behind the scenes that I'm trying to push as fast as possible, but make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Because as I said before, Mercury retrograde is coming. So I want to be prepared for that. Today's been good. I found out some information. I look forward to finding out more information about the information I found out. Because, yeah, it's always something interesting that happens. So I can't wait for the breakdown of that, which is a whole nother story in itself. And I'll save that story for another day. Let me go ahead and get to my daily thought. I think about people and those who have been faithfully listening to my podcast. I've always said I've dealt with a lot of people over the years, which is why I don't deal with as many now. And I would probably say there are 3 groups of people. There is one group of people who have no problem putting themselves first. And they are oblivious to it, where it's just in their nature. So it doesn't register as, oh, they're doing something good or they're doing something bad or whatever. It's just, it's natural to them to put themselves first. And because it's natural to them, they can be oblivious to it. You have another group of people who put themselves first, but they're not oblivious to it. They're the type of people who they know if they have an opportunity to put their thumb on the scales and balance it in their favor, or to handle something where it always has them looking good and finesse it the way that they finesse it, because they're putting themselves first. They're making a conscious effort to put themselves first and not necessarily be concerned with, one could say, collateral damage, which there's not always collateral damage when you put yourself first. So I'm not implying that every time someone puts themselves first, there's always going to be collateral damage. That's not the case. So let me add that caveat in there. I'm just talking about this particular group of people. Whether there's collateral damage or not, they will do whatever they need to do to make sure they have the upper hand. Because in their eyes, the only person who will take care of them is them. And there's some truth to that. You can't always depend on others. I believe it was Oprah Winfrey who said once, no one is coming to save you. You have to be willing to do things yourself. And I get that. There is another group of people who is not natural for them to put themselves first. Their natural instinct is to make sure everyone else is okay. And it doesn't matter what sign you are, because that's something, that is a trait that definitely can fall within the Cancerian side of people. But it doesn't matter what sign you are. You can be a Cancer, a Sagittarius, an Aquarius, Scorpio, Libra. It doesn't matter. This is for anybody that can. Any sign has the ability to have the trait of nurturing and doing what they can to lift others up first, and then hope that they have enough left in their cup that they poured out to give them the energy to get on up the hill too. But usually with the nurturers, they're the ones who are handing out the water to get everyone else up the hill as the people go past them. And after everyone's had their water, then whatever's left over, that's what the nurturer, or someone who doesn't put themselves first, they just take the leftovers and do their best to work with it. And if they have a lot to work with, great. If they have nothing to work with, that's fine too. They just deal with it. I titled this, "It is all fun and games until you do what is in your best interests," because I'm talking about this third group of people, where the people who interact with that third group of people that has that personality of, oh, well, let me help out, let me do this, let me do that, I'll worry about me later. The people who interact with those people, and they're used to receiving the nurturing from those people. They're used to taking from those people, because usually with this third group, the third group doesn't really ask for anything. It's almost like a mother. A mother, some mothers will say, hey, I need this or I need that. I need you to pay this bill for me. I need you to do this. But for the most part, the maternal instinct of a nurturer It isn't in their instinct to ask for things. It just isn't. Even when people want to offer something to them, they're not always quick to take it. Because when someone is a true nurturer, they're not about receiving the gifts. They're about helping others. And as I mentioned yesterday, when I was talking about balance, that any extreme is not a good extreme. If you are a nurturer in the extreme, then there isn't any balance because people are constantly taking from you and you're never receiving anything back. Eventually, you have to do what's in your best interest. And that's when other people back up, because a nurturer dealing with a nurturer, there's usually balance in that relationship. A nurturer dealing with people, whether it's the group who is oblivious to putting themselves first and doing what's best in their self-interest, or the group that makes no apologies of doing what's in their best interest and putting themselves first. Regardless, dealing with those two groups, when those two groups interact with the nurturer group, and the nurturer takes a step back and says, you know what? I think I'm going to put myself first on this one. I think I'll do what's in my best interest on this one. That's when things become complicated. It's uncharted territory. And that's when you have to see if you're a nurturer. Was the relationship, and it can be a friendship, it can be romantic, it can be work, it can be whatever. Was the relationship based off of just one person giving all the time? Or was it based off of, true romance, a true camaraderie at work, or a true friendship, things of that nature? If it's based off of true romance, whoever you're dealing with, if you're a nurturer, they'll respect you saying every now and then you're doing what's in your best interest. They'll understand it. If it is a friendship and you are a nurturer and you're the one who's usually giving and helping out and always trying to clean up messes or offer advice or do this or do that, and if you pull back for a second, whether it's for a few weeks, whether it's for a few months, whether it's for whatever, if it is a true friendship, they will respect it. That means they weren't with you just so they could take from you. Because when you stop giving, when you stop nurturing for a moment and doing what's in your best interest, you're cutting off the faucet for a moment, and they can either deal in the sense of, okay, I need to manage, the faucet isn't on, or they can turn on their faucet and nurture you. It's a thing of separating the wheat from the tare, is what it is. And I was watching something also on Sunday. It was this woman who, if I can remember her name, I want to say it was Keisha Oli, I think is her last name. And she is an evangelist. And she was talking about how God sometimes hides people's worth, where people are worth a lot. And I mentioned this in one of my readings too, about the place where you belong, where you truly belong, will recognize your worth. And I'll just tell the story very quickly because I think it was in the cancer reading, if I'm not mistaken. But long story short, there was this father. He had a watch. He gave the watch to his son. He said to his son, and for those who are watching the video, I'm multitasking as usual. For those who are listening, you can't see, so don't worry about it. But there was this father who gave a watch to his son. And he said to his son, take the watch to this place and see how much they will give you for the watch. So the son took the watch, and it was an old beat up watch. The son took the watch to the place, and they were like, oh, we can't really give you that much. We can only give you a couple of bucks. And then he went back to his father, and he said, they only offered a couple of bucks. He said, you know what? Take it to a watch shop. Take it to a watch shop. So the son took the watch to a watch shop. The watch shop was like, yeah, there isn't a lot that we can give you for this watch. The watch shop offered more than what the other place offered, but they didn't offer a significant amount. So the son went back to his father, and he told them what the watch shop offered. The father said to him, I tell you what, take the watch to the museum and see what the museum offers you for the watch. The son took the watch to the museum. The museum looked at the watch and said, wow, this is a genuine artifact. This is truly an antique. This watch is very valuable. The museum offered him over $1 million for the watch. And the son came home and he was happy. He told his dad, hey, Dad, I took it to the museum like you said, and the museum offered $1 million, over $1 million for the watch. And the father said, good. I wanted you to see the right place will recognize your worth. I'm telling this story again now to say this to the people who are more on the nurturing side and sometimes have to do what's in their best interest. And when they do what's in their best interest, the relationships that they have, whether it be work, whether it be family, whether it be friends, whether it be romance, whether it be whatever, becomes strained. When you do what's in your best interest and things might become a little bit strained, The people who are meant to be in your life, they will recognize your worth. And as the evangelist said while she was speaking, she said, if people fall off, if people walk away from you, it was because God did not clear them to go to the next level with you, is what she said. Meaning there was something with that person, or something with that job, or something with that marriage, or whatever, that it couldn't go any further because the other party that you're dealing with, they weren't cleared to go with you to the next level. Possibly because you may be dealing with an individual that once you receive what is truly meant for you, that individual or individuals or corporation would take and take and take and exploit and do other things. However, those who walk away, they didn't recognize your worth. Real people will recognize your worth. There isn't anything wrong from time to time doing what's in your best interest. And it throws people off, like I said, for the third group, the nurturers, when they're so used to the nurturers handing out and never asking for anything. And I see 444 on the clock. Thank you. That's an angel number. So I know my message is correct. Where the nurturers are constantly handing out, and the people who take from the nurturers, they're not used to giving anything back. Again, extremes in one direction or another, it isn't good. It isn't balanced. There has to be balance. And that's why some people in those other two groups, they can't mentally process when someone in the third group does what's in their best interest every now and then. But what I'm telling you is that if you're one of those people who falls in group number 3, the nurturers, don't be disheartened when people decide they want to walk away. Don't be disheartened when people accuse you of things you know are absolutely not true. That person or that company or that marriage was not tied to your destiny. Therefore, it had to go. And the best thing that you can do is let it go. There isn't anything wrong with doing from time to time, not all the time, because again, extremes, you need balance. There is nothing wrong doing from time to time what is in your best interest. And when you're in group 3 and you do that, that is when you will separate the wheat from the tare. Also, it comes down to boundaries too, because when you're shutting off the faucet, you're putting up a boundary. You're saying, I can't give right now. I can't pour out water so you can go up the mountain. I need to take a sip of water so I don't become dehydrated, so I can get up the mountain. There's nothing wrong with that from time to time. I'm not saying guard your cup and don't ever share your water with anybody again. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that in a true relationship, whether it be with company, romance, family, friends, whatever, a true relationship of reciprocity, things will be balanced. Everyone will understand. And for those who don't, they don't see your worth. And that's fine, because not everyone will see your worth. Just like I was telling you the story about the father, the son, and the watch. The first two places didn't know how valuable, they didn't see how valuable the watch was. But the museum knew the value of the watch. And the right place will recognize your worth. The right people will recognize your worth. The right people in the right place will respect when you from time to time do what's in your best interest so you can get up the mountain. And that is my daily thought. So that's all I have. I will work on the quick three. I think I'm going to use my Tarot Essentials deck for the quick three because I love that deck. It's something calming about that deck that I just love. So I'll probably use that one. And yeah, I think that's it. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Thank you again to everyone who has taken the time to listen to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I look forward to bringing you more stuff to listen to, more content to consume. I'm having a blast doing this. Until next time, be blessed.